Some of y'all ain't heard nothing I said, but it's being done. I got a misunderstanding. You heard that part. Yes, we get misunderstandings. Sometimes they overlead. But because I don't have to call general, I can call on God in the midst of my misunderstanding. He can make everything all right. We still together, ain't we? So we made it through some misunderstandings. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. Like I'm crazy. Get your Bibles out. Don't take this the wrong way. Black preachers have not taught us enough. They've encouraged us and inspired us, but they have not taught us. Therefore, they have created some ignorance. God said in one particular scripture, I will not have you ignorant. He said, I don't want you not knowing. There's another scripture in Romans 10, somewhere between 1, 2, and 3, when he said, my prayer to Israel is that they might be saved. He said, but they have a form of godliness, but not according to knowledge. Meaning they go about to establish their relationship their own way rather than the knowledge of how I want them to do it. See, this part of church boring to some of y'all because if we ain't hollering, y'all ain't listening. I can't get no talk here. That's why Charles Stanley can stand there with a book and just talk. And they folks don't turn their head. I can't get no talk. I got to give Creflo his props. Creflo never raised his voice, but his folk never turn their head, even if they are interested in just prosperity. I can't get no talk. Y'all stop. I didn't say it. I didn't mean it like that. Everybody's not. Let me get this right. Let me back up. I made somebody mad. A Creflo fan got hot right there. So let me move. Let me say something. I'm not your ordinary preacher. So if you thought you were coming, even our folk, we need to get a grip. If you think I'm going to change and be like somebody else, let's get real. It don't do me no good to preach over your head anyway. You don't understand. Oh, I can preach about homiletics if necessary. No, I can preach theology if we have to. Y'all don't have to say much with me. I can preach origin. I can preach from the pit of top. I can talk about those things, but it's not necessary. When you got some trouble, you don't. Need some help, preacher. John 4.
God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth.
Notice, I love this. Notice what he said. They that worship him must, mean there's no other way. So therefore, and listen to this, worship is the highest form of relationship with God. Because worship is what takes you into the uttermost part of God. That's why it must be in spirit and it must be in truth. Listen, because when you enter into spirit with God, you cannot lie. You cannot lie. Because listen, when you enter into God, that's the most sovereign part, worship, excuse me. When you enter into worship, it takes you from the outer court. If you were thinking about the church, let's just say worship has to do with the church. As a matter of fact, it is symbolized in the book of Hebrews. It was showing the church as a form of worship. And therefore, there was an outer court, there was an inner court, there was the Holy of Holies. So if you was out in the yard, that was the outer court. If you was standing in the church, that was the inner court. But if you came up to what a pulpit was, you are in the most sacred part. So let me worship. This is worship. Worship takes you from outside to inside to into God. That's why we go with worship being intimacy. Y'all know what we tell you intimacy means. Intimacy means into me you see. Y'all got that? Intimacy means you go into God. That's why intimacy. Y'all didn't take the children down today. I can't talk now. We got a children's church. I can't say something. They ain't there yet. But there are some things that when it comes to intimacy, that there have to be some entering into. Y'all don't have to say what? So therefore, intimacy with God's Spirit, worship destruction. Ushers, make sure that our visitors have one of these. Please. If you're a visitor, hold your hand. Get our visitors one of these. All our members ought to have. This is destruction of man. This is destruction of man. This is destruction of man. This is just a symbolic thing of it. Now, all our members ought to have one. Or run your copy. Y'all have to bring them and go home and write it down. Stay with me. So, this is the part, listen y'all. This is the part of church we don't know. This is why I don't like church. This is why I don't like church. Church folk act like they ain't never been overwhelmed. You done been overwhelmed where you said, I ain't gonna do it. Somebody said, yes, you are. Anybody ever did that? I don't want no liquor. I ain't touching no liquor. So you know you drunk in the skunk. I know I've been overwhelmed. I ain't gonna eat no more pie. I ain't gonna eat no more red velvet cake. Oh, but she don't went to work and she don't know I'm cutting this cake. I got overwhelmed by my flesh. Can't get no coffee. Now can I ask you? Anybody ever been overwhelmed? Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation in that. Church folks out there like, I ain't gonna hold my hand up, or he might be talking about sex or something. Thank you. Somebody been overwhelmed. Somebody said that too. Let's move on before the righteous get upset with those that they think unrighteous. That's why I like to be able to laugh in church. To a lot of folks, they think it's inappropriate. You don't do this, we don't do that. This ain't no club. When church folks are so sour and miserable and disgusted and mad and angry and busted that they can't even smile, they don't know who God is. To look at you and keep seeing you mess up and mess up and mess up, God has to have a sense of humor. Or he would have wiped you out a long time ago. Anybody ever heard I got to laugh to keep from crying? That's the way God is. If you make me laugh, surely you make God laugh. This ain't church. Go somewhere else then. Church member don't like me to say that. They told me one night, Pastor, you running all members away. That wasn't me, I'm sorry. That was somebody else. Let me get back to the word. I just try to get you to relax a little bit. 17.
For the flesh lusted against the spirit.
Lusted, the word lusted, I said, overwhelming desire. Lust will take you over. I don't care what it's for. Lust stay on your mind when somebody talking about something else.